Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Imran Tarafdar and last four digit of my ID number is 1047. Today, me and my teammate Jubair Ahmed will be presenting our presentation on type of research in software engineering as a part of our research methodology course. So what is research methodology? So before we dive into the types, let's establish what research methodology actually means. At its core, it's a systematic approach to investigating problems, testing hypotheses, and generating new knowledge through a structured inquiry. So now, why does this matter, especially in software engineering? So two reasons. First, software is intangible. Unlike physical products, you can't touch it or directly observe it. So we need frameworks to measure and analyze it. Second, software engineering sits at an intersection of technical system and human behavior. Developers, users, stakeholders all shape outcomes. And third, in an industry often driven by trends and opinions, rigorous methodology ensures our decisions are backed by data, not assumptions. So research in SE generally classified by purpose, approach, and logic. Now, next slide. Basic versus applied research. The first classification is by purpose. Basic versus applied research. Basic research is theoretical and long-term. Its goal is to expand our fundamental understanding. In software engineering, a classic example would be studying algorithm complexity theory. The impact may not be immediate, but it lays the scientific foundation everything else builds on. Applied research, on the other hand, is practical and industry focused. It solves specific real world problems. The impact here is immediate and measurable. Now move on to the next slide, which is quantitative research. So now let's look at the research by approach, starting with quantitative research. So this approach is all about numbers, numerical data, objective measurements, large sample size, and hypothesis testing. It is best used when you want to measure performance, compare tools, or establish patterns. Some software engineering examples include performance benchmarking, like comparing React versus Angular load times, defect density metrics analyzed across 500 or more projects, and large-scale developer surveys, such as finding that 78% of team use Agile. So that's all from my side. Now I will hand over to my teammate Jubair Ahmed.
Thank you to my previous team member Imran Tarafdar. Right now I'm Jubair Ahmed speaking. So let's move to our next slide. Qualitative research. Now let's talk about qualitative research. This one has no numbers. It's about understanding the people, why they do things and how they feel about. It uses interviews, observations, and documents. The group studies is small, but the findings go really deep. In software engineering, this looks like talking to the developers one on one, asking what makes code review harder for a team, or maybe watching a team work over time to see how they actually collaborate, or study how teams make big decisions like switching to a new system. Use this method when your question is about people and their experiences. Now, the next slide, which is mixed methods research. Sometimes one method is not enough, right? So we use the mixed method, which combines both that we discussed about before. In software engineering, it has a technical side and a human side, right? So mixed method helps us look at both together. There are three ways to do it. The first, run the numbers first, then ask why, like finding bug rates are going up, then talking to the developers to understand the reason. And the second, talk to people first, then test with the data. And third, do both at the same time and compare what you find. That gives you the most complete picture of what's really going on. All right, next slide, which is empirical research in software engineering. All right. Empirical research means making decisions based on real evidence, not just theory or guessing like we did before. The basic steps are observe, model, measure, and validate. There are two settings. In vivo means studying real teams in real workplaces, messy but realistic. But in vitro, that means a control setup, cleaner data, easier to analyze that we talked. All right, so the common methods include looking at GitHub data, running A/B tests, doing a deep study of one project, or maybe serving lots of developers. This is how we can make sure of it. So this is what makes software engineering feel like a real science. All right, the next and the last slide, which is decision. I mean, how do we choose the right research type? All right, so how do we pick the right research method? Just match it to some questions. I mean, by asking a few questions, we can make sure or we can identify which one would be the best perfect way. All right, so it's like how many, it should be quantitative. Or if we say why or how, it should be qualitative. Or if we say what is happening and why, that should be mixed methods. And if it's in a control experiment, or how do people actually do it, that is called case study. So that's all. The big takeaway, I would say there is no single best method. So the right one depends on what you are trying to find out. So that is the end of our whole presentation. Thank you everyone for hearing us with your great patience. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.